of Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you how to make a no-bake Biscoff cheesecake. Now, listen, I have not been this excited in a long time. I've discovered Biscoff recently, and it is an affair. It is a love affair like no other. Let me introduce you to my amante. His name is the Lotus Biscoff cookie butter. It is the most delicious cookie butter you will ever have in your entire life. Don't mistake this for peanut butter. It is not the same thing. It is like biting into heaven that tastes like heaven. So, for those of us in the US, I came across Biscoff cookies on a flight on American Airlines. You know how they give you like cookies, the little ones? The cookies are great. They're fabulous for the base of a cheesecake, I can tell you that. Then I stumbled upon this. It is the Biscoff cookie butter spread. So it's basically the cookie, but in a spreadable version. And oh my goodness, I have not been this in love with a product in a really, really, really long time. It's wickedly delicious. It's creamy, it's rich, it's phenomenal, and it deserves to be made into a cheesecake. It's not my idea. I've actually gotten this recipe idea from you guys for so long, and I never knew what you were talking about. But now here we are. This is basically my no-bake peanut butter cheesecake that I've altered slightly to work with this, because that no-bake peanut butter cheesecake, if you've never made it, by the way, it's so perfect. It comes out great every time. It is just absolutely delicious. We're gonna make a Biscoff version. First things first, in a food processor, we're gonna add probably a sleeve, because I need a total of about a cup and a half of cookie crumbs. Now, if you don't have Biscoff cookies, which by the way, I bought mine at Costco a while ago, but virtually everyone's carrying them now, you can use graham crackers. It's fine. If you don't have Biscoff, you can use any cookie butter that you love. So I'm gonna go ahead and add these in here. Like I said, I want about a cup and a half of crumbs. I'm gonna pulse them until they're pretty much pulverized. If I can get them all out of here. I have another sleeve as a backup in case I need it, because I am going to measure this out to make sure I get the right amount. So put the lid on and pulse. All right, this looks great. It's exactly where I want it. I measured it out and I have a little more than a cup and a half, which is perfect. I have probably closer to a cup and 3/4, which fine by me. To it, I'm going to go ahead and add some softened unsalted butter. You can add some sugar here if you want to. I don't think it's necessary, because these are sweeter than graham crackers, so I don't want it to be too sweet, because we are going to add a lot of cookie butter and powdered sugar to the filling. So I don't want to go overboard and then just like have it be, you know what I mean? When it's too sweet, you can't taste anything else. So pulse this until it becomes like wet sand. The texture is like wet sand. Perfect. Okay, I have a 9-inch springform pan. You want to make sure you use a springform pan, because you're going to need to get this baby out once it is done. Now, for the cookie butter, I just want to give you a heads up that if you plan on making this recipe, you are going to need 2 jars. I get mine from Amazon, and they are 14-ounce jars. You're going to need 2 of them. So keep that in mind. Don't sell yourself short. Get yourself 2 jars of cookie butter, maybe 3 or 4. You're going to want to keep them on hand. But I'm going to go ahead and just sort of press this evenly on the bottom and a little bit up the sides, but not really that much. Just want a very even layer here of this, and it already smells fantastic just from that. All right, so let's make the filling. You're going to add some cream cheese to a large bowl. Make sure that your cream cheese is softened at room temperature. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this a whip first. I wanna make sure it's smooth, there are no lumps. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm using my handheld electric whisk from 1986. It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? It's so old, but you know what? I get questions all the time about certain things around my house and things like that. if you take care of things, they last a long time. And this thing's a beast. I mean, it is running. And I've had this since before LITK started. So I'm going to go ahead and beat this. Just make sure that there are no lumps. It's nice and smooth before we add everything else in, which is going to be a little bit of heavy cream, powdered sugar, vanilla, and your Biscoff cookie butter. So there you go. Okay. Now I pretty much add everything else in. And you're going to beat this for a while. Because you want it really fluffy. You have no idea how good that is. You want it really sort of mousse-like. In hindsight, I probably should have used my standing mixer, but listen, we got this. A little bit of heavy cream, powdered sugar, and a splash of vanilla extract. Here we go. And now with patience, lots of patience, you are going to just mix for a good, I'm gonna say a good 5 minutes. I'm trying to get this all off of this thing, and it's like if I get it all off the spatula, it gets on the spoon. If I get it all off the spoon, it's on the spatula. But okay, wish me luck. That is perfect. It's really thick and just mousse-like. Just want to make sure every tiny little bit got mixed properly. If it didn't, just kind of work it in. Listen, we don't got time for uber perfection around here, okay? We try. We try hard. Okay, just trying to even this out kind of best you can. Just like that. Perfect. And now I'm just going to cover this. I'm going to just put a plate on top, just so that it's not sitting directly on the cheesecake filling. I'm going to put a plate on top, and it needs to go in the fridge for a minimum of like 12 hours. 24 hours is best, but definitely a minimum of like 12 hours. So I'm going to go do that. Then we top it with more Biscoff. Then we slice and eat. It's going to be very worth the wait, I promise. All right, my cheesecake has been sitting in the fridge for almost 24 hours, and it's perfect. Now, this is a really rich, sweet, decadent cheesecake, so it's not going to be really really tall. But if you want a much sort of like higher and richer and, you know, thicker, you know, in terms of the base, then you can add one more block of cream cheese along with a half a cup more of powdered sugar, and then you could have that. I don't think it's necessary simply because, like I said, it's very rich. What I'm going to work on next is softening some more Biscoff. I have about a half a cup here. I'm going to go ahead and pop it in the microwave. You don't want to keep it in the microwave for too long. I like to do it for 10-second increments until it's like really runny and delicious. And then I'm going to top it with berries, because I think with something so sweet, you need a little something sharp, a little something fresh, a little something slightly tart to complement it, because otherwise there's just no balance, right? So I'm going to pop this in the microwave, and then what I'll do is I'll just start taking some, these are some beautiful Jersey strawberries from the farm stand. Some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are smaller, so I'm going to just take the bigger ones and I'm going to slice them in half. I've got some blackberries, I've got some blueberries, any fruit you like will do. I just think that, you know, berries do well on a cheesecake pretty much of any type. So I'm going to go ahead and melt this, and then we will assemble, if you will. Once your Biscoff or your cookie butter of choice is melted, I like to do just the edge, and then I cover it with the berries. It almost becomes like edible glue. Just because this is so rich, I really don't think that the entire top needs it, but hey, the world is your pickle boot and you do you. I do like to have some drizzle down. It almost looks like, well, it does. It looks like caramel. It looks like dulce de leche. I just love, and trust me, if you think this is good out of the jar, wait until you melt it a little bit. It's absolutely divine. And then I'm going to just use a couple of Biscoff cookies for the center. And trust me, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't, you know, if it didn't make a difference. But I do think it makes a difference, and I do like that once you put the berries on top, it really just kind of elevates the whole thing. So now that we have that, Now we just start decorating, which, you know, for me, it only involves the easiest thing possible. And these little ones, I just kind of leave them whole because I think they're so pretty. I don't want to mess with them. I'm going to work on the berries first, and then I'll plunk in the rest of the stuff. The rest of the berries, I should say. Okay, so put your berries all on the top. You put a couple of Biscoff cookies. I put some powdered sugar around the edges because, listen, a thumbnail is important, okay? Before I slice into it, you gotta take the photo for the thumbnail so that you can see what you're about to get. And you know me, if you've been following Laura in the Kitchen for as long as I've been doing it, the thumbnail photo is always the dish, right? I've either made it that day, or if I've been cooking the same thing over and over again, it's the actual dish. There's no like pretend fruits or blah, 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 blah. So sometimes I gotta sneak in my thumbnail, but now I can slice into it, okay? I just love the way this looks, and I know I'm gonna love the way that it tastes. It is creamy for cheesy. Give me a second, I just wanna make sure I cut all the way through. It's hard to see with the fruit. I don't wanna slice the fruit too much. That is gorgeous, okay? That is magnificent. A little piece of the crust got stuck in there, but you know what? It's fine, it's all good. You do not know until you know. You don't know how good this is until you make it. And it's actually, I think this ratio is perfect. If you want any richer, you're gonna lose some of that Biscoff flavor, right? And you're gonna make it so intensely rich that you're just not going to enjoy it properly. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, one piece will serve me and Joe because it is rich. And that's just sort of how you get that perfect balance of being able to eat what you like and enjoy it, but without feeling like you're overdoing it. You know what I mean? That is perfect. It would be great made in maybe like a shallow, I'm not gonna say baking sheet, but like, you know, like a little sheet pan, like a shallow one. So you could cut squares out of it for a birthday party, a get together, like whatever's coming up when we're able to. It's just fantastic all around, and I can't imagine anybody not going crazy over it. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me. Make yourself a Biscoff cheesecake, and I'll see you next time. Bye.